the next couple of years of Star Wars is going to be very interesting because these are the years where the franchise really needs to step into gear, especially with its live-action movies and whatnot, because when you look what Star Wars is doing the last couple of years, it's mainly on Disney Plus. Really, like, yes, there's been a couple of video games that have been releasing, but it's not to the extent of what we saw in the early 2000s. And I feel like that could all come down to Kathleen Kennedy and her handling of the franchise, which isn't really good. But I'm not here to talk about that early, but like, if I was CEO of LucasFilm, you know, if I were to take control of Star Wars like Kathleen Kennedy is, like, if I were to take her position, what would I do to get Star Wars back on track? To make people excited for the franchise again. I would do what Fortnite has been doing, where if you don't play that game, basically throughout the entire year, there's all these different events, all these different things happening that force you to play, and there's something for you to like. And throughout the years, the new seasons, new in-game events, so on and so forth. What if Star Wars can do that? What if throughout the year, along with the shows, in between the shows, could be a video game that could release? Now, because there are downtimes, like right now, there are downtimes. So right now, we're in a downtime for the next Star Wars show, which I don't know when it's going to come out. It's not clear yet as of recording this. So right now, we're in a downtime. Imagine if there's a Star Wars game to play. I'm not talking about a big single-player thing like the Jedi series is. More so like a smaller game like Squadrons. If you played that game, or you heard about it, seen videos, it's a small game that caters to a niche crowd. And for a little bit of time with Squadrons, it did get a lot of buzz and people did talk about it. Now, imagine that type of game, but for more popular genres like lightsaber dueling or something like the Battlefront games, something smaller like those. Obviously, you still have big games like the Outlaws coming out. That's going to be a big game. And also, the Outlaws, that turns into a franchise that helps as well. So if you were to release a video game in between the downtime, in between shows, that will keep people invested, especially if the games are good. And I feel like that comes out to another thing I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But at the end of every year, there should be a movie that should be big spectacle and that will encaps everything. You know, it could be whatever. You know, let people go crazy with whatever Star Wars idea they have in Star Wars. So, with that being said, on paper, that's a good idea. But the problem is that because if Lucasfilm were to take my idea and do that for, let's just say, 2025, 2026, the problem is that is it going to be good? And that's the real kicker here, where it has to be good. Because in order for people to talk about your content and consume it, talk about stuff online, create a discussion about it, because they don't really happen for the shows. People only talk about the shows, and during the downtimes, it's just whatever. And so, having constant stuff pumping out in between, like you have a show, then a video game, then another show, video game show, then in December, you have the movie, you know? But it all has to be good. And that's the problem with Lucasfilm right now, where they can't make good things, because for some reason, I don't know behind the scenes of Kathleen Kennedy, and I wonder if it's because Kathleen Kennedy has all these, like, politics that she has that the other directors have to have as well, that make the productions hell, because what if she only allows people who agree with her political ideals? That's just my assumption, because I don't know behind the scenes. And so that basically has to stop in order for my idea to work. Because constantly having this constant cycle of Star Wars content, because for most Star Wars fans, it's a younger audience. That's why I'm saying video games, alongside comic books as well. But the stuff has to be good and memorable. That's the thing. Because if it's not, people are going to stop talking about it. Because during Fortnite's history, there are points in that time in the game where people stopped talking about it because the game wasn't really that interesting. There are other points where, you know, throughout the year, it's like, oh my god, you can't stop talking about it, you can't stop singing about it, you're always seeing videos of people talk about the game and the updates and the seasons, whatnot. I want that for Star Wars. You know? Having people constantly talk about, constantly theorizing stuff, sharing clips online, that type of stuff is all keeps Star Wars alive, because the community right now is not only very split, but no one's really talking about Star Wars, really. Everyone's talking about the past, talking about George Lucas Star Wars, which is fine. That should at least be something to talk about. But in terms of the future, there's nothing. And that's what's sad, because Star Wars used to be this Like, back in 2015, 2014, it was like, oh my god, the sky's the limit with this thing. You know, Disney and Star Wars, they can do so much stuff, with so much productions could be making of it. You know, so many people can be making Star Wars projects, but no, it's because the upper management just, I don't know what's going on there. And it really is affecting consumers because the Star Wars fans are going to other projects, going to other franchises. You know, when Marvel became really popular, everyone just went to Marvel, and this year and next year will be the two biggest years, because if they don't do what I suggest, or something similar to my idea, where they create a schedule and make all these different projects, like actually schedule it out, and they don't be connected in any way. All these projects don't have to be connected, they can be random, you know, different time periods, that type of stuff. I don't care. You know, the video games could be based off of movies or their own original projects. The shows can be whatever, or kind of what they're doing similar to right now. Like, it can be whatever it wants, you know. But what I'm saying is that they should be good, and they should create a schedule where this stuff actually can be released in a manageable time. That's what I'm really hoping that in 2024, this year, we have some announcements from LucasFilm about similar to the idea where they're creating a schedule, a constant schedule, so you're always thinking about Star Wars, you're always consuming their products. Because I feel like the last thing I want to talk about is that when you're constantly consuming a product from any company or any brand, you know, that's taking up your time. You only have so much time in the day. And for a company like Star Wars, they should be thinking about how much time can we force people to consume our product. And that's why I'm saying TV shows, video games, and movies. Because those are three things that take up most people's time. With movies, you go to the movie theater and spend 2 hours in a movie theater, you pay your ticket, you see it. With shows, the way Disney Plus works is that it's spread out like 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks. For Andor's sake, it's 12 weeks, but most of the time it's 8 weeks. You're coming back, Disney Plus, and watching about an hour of Star Wars. And with video games, depending on what it is, if it's a big story-based game, you're spending like casually a good 2 to 3 weeks on it. Or a smaller game, if it's a multiplayer, you're gonna be spending less than that, but you're still gonna have a lot of people talking about online. So I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, all these things combined, constantly having a new show, a new video game releasing constantly would be so beneficial. And like I keep saying, it has to be good. It can't be this identity politics bullcrap or just mediocre. No, it has to be good or decent enough, you know. And if it's not, then people are going to stop talking about it. And that's the problem with Star Wars, that the stuff that they're making right now is not good enough. It's not decent enough to talk about. Like, I would like to post more stuff on this channel, but I can't because I don't know what to talk about, because Star Wars is not giving me anything to talk about. There is no new game that I can get some content on. There is no new show or something like that I can just talk about that is popular. I think it's also pointed as well, there's nothing popular in Star Wars right now, except for the old stuff, which is fine. But for the future of this franchise, we need looking at the future rather than staying in the past all the time. And with that, if you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe, I'm gonna go now. So, goodbye everyone.